Hi, everybody. This is Samantha Calamares with App Properties. Today, I get to interview with an organization that means a lot to me. I'm honored that I get to interview Julie Yurko, who she's the president and CEO of the Northern Illinois Food Bank. Welcome, Julie, and thank you so much for interviewing with me today.
Of course, it's my pleasure.
Thank you. So could you tell me a little bit about you and your position with the Northern Illinois Food Bank?
Absolutely, absolutely. I have the privilege of serving as the president and CEO of the food bank. Here at the food bank, we believe in full bellies. We want every man, woman, child, every senior to go to bed with a full belly every night. And we know that sadly across the Chicago suburbs, out into the Northern Illinois, that is not always the case, that there are folks that don't have enough to eat. So working with my colleagues, we're about 150 folks. We bring in food, groceries for our neighbors, and then we get them out through our feeding sites. We have food pantries, soup kitchen shelters, kid and senior feeding sites in every one of our communities in Northern Illinois.
And what areas do you mainly focus on? Do you have specific areas that you bring the food banks to?
Sure. So when I mentioned the 13 counties, if you make a stay around Chicago, we will distribute food in any of those counties: Lake, McHenry, Kane, DuPage, all the way down to Kankakee. We'll go out into DeKalb, past DeKalb, all the way out into Rockford and Stevenson County. So we are going to be operating in all of those counties. We have 4 warehouses, one up in Park City in Lake County, down in Joliet, out in Rockford, and then in Geneva, which is right by between DuPage and Kane counties. So we're going to operate in all of those areas.
Good. So you've got a good reach, that's for sure. Are all the needs being met of our hungry neighbors, and are they getting the food that they desperately need right now?
Sure. So there was life, and then there's life with COVID-19. And
Right.
Before COVID, we knew that there were at least 400,000, over half of those are going to be kids, living in the Chicago suburbs who are hungry. We know that. And we were driving to distribute enough food for everyone who was in need. And we were getting really close to that goal. And then COVID hit. And as you know, millions of Americans have applied for unemployment. We have seen at least 20% of our families be laid off or have reduced hours. So the need is growing dramatically right now. I don't have a number. I don't know how many people are food insecure right now, but what I can tell you is what we're seeing at our distributions through our food pantries and our food bank programs is we're seeing double the number of folks coming to us.
Wow. Wow.
One quick example, we chose to try something last Saturday. It was a pop-up produce mart, and we had a couple of truckloads of produce coming in, and one was from Walmart, another was from Amazon, some of the Whole Foods product. And we sent out a social post on Thursday night that we would be distributing produce and here in Geneva. And on Saturday morning, we served 743 families.
Wow, that's incredible.
So yeah, the need is huge right now. So sadly, I don't think we are meeting the need. It hurts my heart that I don't think we're meeting the need. I think there are people who are struggling right now and they don't have enough to eat, but we are doing everything we can to get food out, get fresh, nutritious groceries out for our neighbors.
Right. If somebody is in need or knows of somebody in need, what is the best way for them to find you or know where you're going to be?
Sure. So best way is to go to our website, which is solvehungertoday.org. We have a coronavirus button there. We also have a get help button. And so if someone is looking for help, they simply click on that button. It will ask you to put in your zip code, and it will show you a list of all of our feeding sites that are open right now. We are keeping that list up to date. The other thing someone could do is they could call our hotline, and that number is 844-600-SNAP or 844-600-7627. We are staffing that 7 days a week. You will reach someone who will be able to help you find a feeding program, a food pantry close to you. That person can also help a neighbor sign up for SNAP, which is food stamps. And right now the government is allowing all folks that qualify to receive the maximum benefit. So for families of 3, 4, and 5, they're going to get a few $100s to help them buy groceries every month. So I highly, highly recommend you give us a call. We will make sure, anyone who calls us that they have access to food.
Good. So let's talk about your facilities a little bit. How many full-time employees do you have and how many volunteers do you have?
Yeah. So as I mentioned, we have a team of about 150 that's over the 4 centers. Most of us are here in Geneva. We have teams of about 5 to 8 that are out at our other 3 locations. Volunteers, again, you kind of do before COVID and after COVID. Before we were welcoming in 25,000 people, unique individuals every year helping us here at the food bank. That was folks that were coming in to help us sort food, inspect food, repack food for us. Not to count, then there's a whole nother group of folks that are helping at our food pantries, soup kitchens, and shelters.
Right.
So literally thousands of folks. Because of COVID, we've had to cut back here on our volunteers. We are following all of the CDC guidelines around cleanliness, hand washing, the sprays, the masks, the gloves. We are also practicing social distancing. And so shifts here in Geneva that I used to have up to 150 people, we're welcoming 40. So the number of volunteers right now is significantly less than when we're fully operational. I will say, if someone sees this video and they are well and they are able, we would love for them to come and volunteer for us. We are having trouble even filling the shifts that we do have at those lower numbers. And every week we're trying to get out over 9,000 emergency food boxes, and that means we need folks here packing those boxes. So if someone's able to volunteer, hungertoday.org, and there's a volunteer button, and you just click on that and we'll get you signed up.
Good. I love that. That was going to be my next question. How can people reach out to help? Let's say somebody wants to donate. How could they donate to this cause?
First of all, that would be awesome. We'd be so grateful if folks were willing to financially invest in us at this time. I will say, the folks that are coming to us now to volunteer and the folks that are supporting us financially, they're just heroes. They are so needed, and we are so grateful. If you are able to make a financial contribution to us, you can also go to solvehungertoday.org. There's a donate button there, and you just click on that and you can make a gift. What I'll tell you is we will use that gift wisely. Right now, we've increased our expenses about 34%. So that we can get more food out and get it out more quickly to all of our neighbors. And so every dollar given to us, we can turn into about $8 worth of groceries going out to our neighbors. So it's amazing. On purpose. We will maximize your dollars.
I love that idea because, well, people definitely have the right idea of going to the store and buying and dropping off food at food pantries. And I don't want to discourage that whatsoever. I think it's important for people to know that you guys can do so much more with that dollar. So thank you for stating that. Prior to the virus outbreak, was the battle against food insecurity being won, or has the need increased over the past 5 years?
Sure. So actually what we saw, the last time we had a real economic crisis in the country was, in 2008 and 2009 with the economic, with the Great Recession, right? And what we saw really over the last 5 years was Americans, we were all doing much better, right? When we looked at folks that were working, which 3/4 of our families are working families, many of them were doing better. And we saw the need going down. Our distribution was increasing dramatically. And so while I don't know that we're ever fully solving hunger, I was really pleased with the progress we were making and the food that we were making available out to our neighbors. Now, as I mentioned, I'm getting reports given to me. We're a part of Feeding America, which is the nation's network of food banks, that we should expect between a 9 and 28% increase over the next year to 2 years. And so what I'll tell you is we are really hoping that we can bring in as much food as possible, donated food, purchase food from the federal government so that we can get it out, because we think now more than ever, it's important. It's never been more important. I think there are more people today struggling to have full bellies than before.
What would you say has been your direct, most challenging moments, or in order to provide food to these people with COVID being here? We talked about less volunteers. We talked about the need growing. How are you going to battle that?
Sure.
What's the best way to help, resolve that issue?
So two things come to mind. The first, I've talked about food. 80% of the food we distribute is given to us. That supply is disrupted right now. So we saw our retail donations as all of us were going to buy more from the stores. That meant less was being donated to the food bank. And so we saw that decline significantly in March. It's still down in April. So having enough food is an issue for us. The manufacturers, they have been giving us more food. Even if they don't have it, we call, and they've been very generous with us. But one of my biggest concerns is having enough food. We tend to have in our warehouses around 6 million pounds of food at any given time. And I want to make sure we can sustain that, because we really probably need to grow it. We probably need to grow it another 10, 20%. The second thing, and this is what is really, really challenging right now, is making sure we're able to distribute this food so that it's safe. You know, I mentioned volunteers, making sure that while we are being directed to stay at home, shelter in place, that we are still able to serve all of our folks. So we've switched to a drive-through model at all of our food pantries, all of our programs, where we're trying to minimize that human interaction. But that has probably been the biggest challenge. Thank goodness for homemade masks and gloves and new procedures. Hopefully we are doing our darndest to keep everybody safe, safe but fed. And those are two hard things right now.
Well, I'm so thankful for your time today. I know you're super busy, and it means a lot to me that you were willing to give your time. I'm hoping that we can continue to help you and spread the word. And again, I'm just going to ask one more time, how can people support this wonderful mission that you, your volunteers, your employees are all doing on a daily basis?
Yep. I just encourage you to get involved, just like you have. Thank you so much. One of our challenges is getting the word out, letting people know, and you are helping us get the word out. So I encourage anyone who watches the video, please, if you're able, if you're well and can volunteer, please do that. If you're able to invest in us, please do that. If you're able to spread the word, tell your friends that you watched the video, please do that. All the information is at solvehungertoday.org.
Great. Thank you so much, Julie. I appreciate your time, and we are going to do our best to spread the word.
Thank you so much. Take care.
You too.